Okay, so since everybody has agreed that Chelsea are going to be destroyed in the finals by PSG, let's take a look at PSG's most emphatic wins in recent times. The first one being Inter Milan, and the second one being Atletico Madrid. I'm not going to talk about Inter Miami because Inter Miami. I'm not going to rate them because they are not at the level that we should be making serious argument about their results. So now let's look at Inter Milan team that plays against PSG in that finals. Let's take a look at their defensive line and compare them to Chelsea in terms of personnel and age. Now, the oldest player in that Inter Milan team for that finals was Acerbi. And Acerbi is 37 years of age as at the time he played in that finals. And the oldest defender at Chelsea currently is Tosin Adarabioyo, who is 27 years old. Now, those who partnered Acerbi in that three at the back defense were Bastoni, who is 26, and of course Pavard, who is 29 years old. So other Chelsea defenders such as Chaloba is 26, Colwill is 22. So you can see the disparity in age. Now let's go to their midfield. The oldest player in Chelsea's midfield is Enzo Fernandez. He's 24 years of age. Kopama is 23, Caicedo is 23 years. Now let's look at Inter Milan, for instance. The oldest person in Inter Milan's team that played PSG in the final is Mkhitaryan. He was 36 years as at the time he played our finals. And I think the youngest player then was Barella, who is currently 28 years old. The other player being Chananoglu, who is also in his 30s, 31 years old. Now, the other guys, because Inter Milan play a 3-5-2 under Inzaghi. Now, Dumfries is 29 years of age, and of course, Dimarco is 27 years. Now, let's compare to our fullbacks. Rich James is 24 years of age and 25 years of age. Gusto is 22. Cucurella is 23, 26. You can see how Inter Milan could not press Inter Milan and allow Inter Milan PSG to run them over and outplay them in midfield and in every facet of the game. Now, let's take Atletico Madrid, for instance. Now, the combined age of that back line that played that match against PSG is 118 years old. Lenglet is 30 years of age. Norman is 28. Llorente is the right back, is 30 years of age. And Gallan, who played as a left back, is 30 years of age. Now, do the maths. Compare them to Colwill, Chaloba or Tosin or Gusto or James or Cucurella, and then you see why it was easy for PSG to run these teams over without them pressing or trying to do anything. Now let's go to their midfield. The oldest player in Chelsea's midfield remains Enzo Fernandez, who is 24, and the oldest player in what Atletico Madrid's team is in that midfield is Rodrigo de Paul. He's 31 years of age. Now, we are not going to talk about Griezmann, who is 34 years of age. You see, there's a lot to this game that people are not looking at. They're just looking at the score lines. Oh, they beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. Oh, they beat Inter Milan 5-0. That Inter Milan team, if you look at the way Fluminense ran them over, you understand, it was easy. Of course, they conceded 5 goals, 6 goals over 2 legs against Barcelona. If not that Barcelona, had a leaky defense, their defense is not as good as PSG's defense, we'll be talking about the same scoreline. So if you are looking at Inter Milan scores, if you are looking at Atletico Madrid scores and Inter Miami scores to actually, predict how Chelsea is going to be run over, then you are dead wrong. Why don't you look at Arsenal that has a decent team and a decent backline? How did he go against Arsenal? PSG managed to win, in very close score lines of 2-1, 2-1. What about even Aston Villa, Liverpool? So I'm telling you, this game is a game that is going to be very close. A game of 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. And it can go either ways. Do you understand? Like, you can match these players. If you are not talking about fitness, how, Rich James is outrightly one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world when he's fully fit. Kukurea is I give it to Nuno Mendes. He's the best left back in the world, but Cucurella is just right behind. And then look at the midfield. There is very close, resemblance in all of these two teams. But a lot of people, you're just looking at your hit for Chelsea and you don't want to look past that or maybe do one small research to actually know why these things are like that. Apart from Inter Milan and probably who, okay, they beat Man City and we know the kind of Man City that was last season. They lost a lot of games, even the teams that ordinarily Manchester City should be beating. So PSG can win this game. It's possible, but Chelsea can as well win the game. So what I'm going to tell you, if Chelsea win or not, the result is not going to be a 5-0, 4-0, 6-0. It is not going to be anything close to that. I think this might just be the most toughest game PSG are going to play this season. So I have my fingers crossed. See you on Sunday. And don't play because you're going to learn. And you learn the hard way. Chelsea have shown you guys over time that they don't mess up in games like this. Like you can call them underdogs, you can be the best team, you can play the game you want to play. At the end of the day, win the trophy. That's all. And this PSG, a lot of people are looking at this PSG, reporters asking questions of how Chelsea are prepared to suffer without the ball. PSG is not a Manchester City under Guardiola. It's not a Barcelona under Guardiola. Their style of play is not total, dominance in terms of ball possession. They play possessive football and then they hit you fast on counters and all these things. They don't keep the ball trying to, play you, total football like, Barcelona used to do in those days. So PSG is not going to be, be possessing and Chelsea will be running around. And of course, if you want to look at Chelsea, go back last season and check all the games that Chelsea played and tell me the team that had a possession against Chelsea that Chelsea had little or no ball. It's not possible under this Maresca system. So Sunday is just a couple of hours away, and I can't wait to see this game. I can't wait to see what happens after the game because a lot of takes are flying online, and I can't help but just laugh. So this game is not like that of even Real Madrid. If you look at Real Madrid's team, the defense that played against PSG, Garcia, Rudiger, Asensio, and then Valverde was playing as a right back. Tell me any of these defenders that will get into Chelsea's defense. Maybe Rudiger. I'm not even sure of the Rudiger of last season and this season. And Rudiger is 30 years plus now. Valverde is a midfielder, that was made to play as a right back. You have Rich James, you have Cucurella, Garcia and Cucurella, and you think PSG are going to run us over because they beat Real Madrid 4-0. Come on, you guys should wake up. It's not going to happen.